Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started here. Let everybody settle in. Thank you all for being here. I'm Jackie Atchison. I'm the Executive Director of the Arts Council for Monterey County, and I welcome you to our free quarterly professional development program, BusinessWorks. We've been doing this, since the end of the pandemic. But it's really great to have you all here. We are going to be discussing donor development to grant prospecting, led by our wonderful Nicola Reilly. So Nicola is the president and CEO of the Monterey Symphony. She previously held positions at the Carmel Bach Festival, Cal State University Monterey Bay. She's a Seattle native, and she worked for the Seattle Chamber Music Society, the Women's Medieval Choir, I would love to see that, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. She holds a degree in Spanish literature and music history from the University of Puget Sound and an advanced degree in arts administration from the University of Washington. She's also completed the Stanford Graduate School of Business Executive Program for Nonprofit Leaders in 2019. Nicola serves as the president of the Association of Fundraising Professionals, the Monterey Bay chapter. If you haven't joined, I highly encourage you to join. And she's the secretary to the Group 4 Delegate Organization of the League of American Orchestras. She's also a classically trained violinist, and she performs throughout the peninsula. She is also the mother of 2 sons. So I would hope you all would like to help me welcome Nicola Reilly. She knows how to make an entrance. Oh, I'll pass the mic to you.
Good morning. Good morning. I want you all to know that I respect you so much that I did not name this presentation Putting the Fun in Fundraising. Because fundraising is not fun. And I personally am over it. So, today I have a PowerPoint presentation that has 15 delicious tidbits. These are fundraising tidbits that I use to ground myself when I don't want to do fundraising, which is kind of where I am right now. I haven't written my Monterey Gives proposal. I don't know if you guys have yet, but maybe after today, you will at least be inspired to write your Monterey County Gives proposal. That's the goal of today, I think. So we're gonna talk about some delicious tidbits. So hello, I am Nicola. This is my older son, drew a picture of me when he was 6, and he said, "This is you." And it is. This is me. Those are my lips, and those are my eyes, and that is definitely my hair. And so I choose to see myself as that, and also this, because I like to go to other people's galas. And I strongly encourage you in your own organization, if you are the boss, put money in your own budget to go to other people's galas. And if you are not the boss, tell your boss. Nicola said that you should put money in the budget for us to go to other people's galas. This is a group of people at the Arts Council Gala, and look at how much fun we're having, because we're not working, we're just paying attention to what they're doing, and we're out supporting our colleagues, and we're adding, look at how much fun. I mean, really, look at how much fun we're having in that picture. Not staged at all. So really quick, how did I get to be here on this Friday morning pretending to know enough about fundraising to tell you guys something about fundraising? This is my circuitous path. This is my entire job resume. Just a few highlights that I'd like to point out. Making coffee and disappointing my parents. Making coffee, there's a lot of that. Interviewing, I should have put more making coffee. But this was a very circuitous route to sort of getting to be president and CEO of the Monterey Symphony. Next year, I will be celebrating my 10th year with the Monterey Symphony, and I have lived here on the peninsula for 13 years. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate that very much. So we're going to run through these, and then I'm going to take questions. You can ask as specific a question as you want, or as general a question as you want. You're welcome to email me after the presentation, good morning, Jacob, if you have anything else you want to talk about. So, donor development. Development feels like going to the grocery store when you're hungry and you don't have a list. There's no end to development. There's just no end to it. It's even worse than marketing. Because in marketing, it's like print ads or radio ads or social media or the website or the follow-up or the content or the content management. There's so much, but development, holy Hannah. Development is all about relationships. And how do you build relationships? You build relationships through networking. How do you network? You go out and you spend time meeting other people, talking to other people. You go to the Chamber of Commerce events. You go to other people's galas. You come and sit in a room like this room that you're in this morning. You come to the AFP coffees. There are so many opportunities here in Monterey County, if you are working in fundraising, to spend time around donors. There's just so many. So when people are like, how do I meet donors? I say, go to Trader Joe's, go to the Bach Festival, walk out your front door. There are donors everywhere. Throw a rock, hit a major donor to the Monterey Symphony. I'm kidding, don't do that, that's terrible. But there's no end to it. So wrap your head around the idea that there is no way that you are ever going to get your arms around everything that you can do for your own organization around development. So you have to prioritize year after year. And your priorities can't be, I'm going to do all of it. Individual giving, annual giving, Monterey County gives, grant prospecting, foundations, institutional giving. I'm going to get state money. I'm going to get municipal funding. I'm going to go get other state money. I'm going to get federal funding. I'm going to go into the systems for award management, and I'm going to let them scan my retinas, and I'm going to get that money too. And then I'm also going to do a sophisticated monthly giving program, and I'm also going to do text to give, and I'm also going to do Facebook giving, and I'm going to do Instagram giving, and I'm going to do fun TikTok videos where you're going to want to give, and then I'm also going to write passionate letters, and I'm going to blog about giving, and then I'm going to have a gala, and then I'm going to have a get to know you event, and then I'm going to, no. Make your priorities, because you can't do everything every year. It's impossible. And if your boss, and you're not the boss, is saying to you, we're going to do everything. We're just going to do everything. We're going to eat the whole elephant. We're going to do the whole thing. It's unrealistic. You'll burn out. You'll go crazy. The goalpost keeps moving. You can't keep up. It's not possible. So just remember that. That's rule number one. Draft an annual plan. What's your fiscal year? Is your fiscal year your calendar year? Get out a piece of paper, get a giant Post-it note, put it on your wall, whatever works for you. Use an Apple phone note. I don't care. Whatever it is. January to December, July to June, whatever your fiscal year is. Map out a plan for something that you're going to do every month around development. Do not plan an event every month. Don't do something crazy like that, but say, you know what, in June, I'm going to write an annual report about what we did the year before, and I'm going to send it to all of my major donors. It's not going to be glossy. It's not going to be fancy. It's going to be how I feel about what our organization did, and it's just going to be what I'm proud of. The next month, I'm going to sit down with a couple of my long-standing board members, and I'm going to interview them about what the organization means to them, and I'm going to take some pull quotes out of that, and I'm going to send out a couple e-newsletters. The next month, I'm going to pull a donation report of all of my lapsed donors. And I'm going to drink 3 espressos, and I'm going to call 25 of them in 1 week. Give yourself realistic goals, but map them out. So it's not that panicked feeling of, oh my God, I just checked where we are year to date on our giving. We're behind. Oh my God, we need to do something. Let's send out an appeal. Oh my God, let's send out an e-newsletter. Let's move our Give Now button on the website from the right side to the left side because people they don't know what to do. Oh my God, let's get another app that we can install and then people can give butter or give better or stop it. Just stop the madness. Write a plan, hang it up, post it, have it in front of you, have realistic goals. Do things that are creative. Don't do things that you've always done over and over and over again. because the reason some of those things aren't working is because they're old and they're tired, and your donors are tired of getting them. Guess what? Your donors know that they're donors. They wish they were your friends, but they're not, okay? They're not. You're building relationships with them. You make them feel really good. You take them out to lunch. You talk to them about their most recent medical procedure in graphic detail. You know that they have a follow-up colonoscopy 3 months from now. And maybe you'll send them a note that says, hope everything's okay. They are not your friends. They're donors. They're donating to your organization, and you are building a relationship with them, but they know they're a donor. So they know that when you're reaching out to them, you either want to tell them how something that they've supported is moving along and progressing, or you want to pitch them a new idea, or you're calling to ask for more money, or you're calling to follow up on money they said they were going to give, but they haven't given yet. You're not calling to invite them over to your house to borrow a pair of your sweatpants and sit on your couch and watch cooking shows with you. That's not what's happening. So let go of the fear of interacting with your donors as if they're donors, because they're donors, your staff, and they know that. And when it starts to feel icky is when those lines get blurred. So, yes?
I had a donor once that was telling me about some facelift and this, that, and the other, and she's like, I look like an octopus. I have so many tubes draining out of my body. And so then, of course, I went immediately to the stationery store and found a card that had an octopus on top. And then I spent 2 weeks deciding whether or not it was funny.
It's not funny. It's not funny. It's weird. It's just, it's. So, full disclosure, at the Symphony we have a shame wall, and it's behind the supply closet door. So if you come into the office, you can't see it. But the shame wall is correspondence, inappropriate correspondence from donors to me. And I have a letter from that octopus donor that hangs on that shame wall. So they aren't surprised at all when you reach out. They're not surprised. Especially if it's somebody who's giving on a regular basis, they're not surprised. But don't always call them asking for money. Don't always contact them asking for money. Now, sometimes people like to use the veil of, I'd love to get some advice from you on this thing. That's a really dangerous, slippery slope. And that's some really old school fundraising advice. Like, oh, if I call this donor and I say I really want to know what you think about this project, and then you don't take a single piece of their advice, you've actually doubly offended them. And you might lose them as a donor. So unless you're actually willing to listen to their input, don't do it. Just don't. We have a seat right up here, front of the class. So keep them in the loop. And keeping them in the loop is not just the e-newsletter. It's a special touch. It's a special email to them. Now, if you want to be a little lazy, which I don't mind, if you send out your regular e-newsletter and you decide that there's a donor who doesn't open e-newsletters, but there's something in there that you really want them to know, forward the e-newsletter to them, change the subject line to something like, missed seeing you at our last event, or hope all is well, or check this out, or please read, exclamation point. And then you put in the first line, I really wanted you to know about this fabulous program that we have coming up. I hope to see you there. Just keep them in the loop, because even if they don't come, they've had that individual touch point from you where they know that you're thinking about what they care about that you're doing within the organization. Events, stories, emails. Those are the kind of things that you just want to be including your donors on. And it's fine if they don't come to stuff. I know that there's this panic about you got to get the right combination of donors in the room. I've got to have all of my donors here. Sometimes it doesn't really matter. Sometimes just letting donors know about what you're doing is enough to keep them engaged. And frankly, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little just fried on the whole going to the event thing. So I was at the Bach Festival last night, and I used to work for the Bach Festival. I worked there for 3 years. So when I go to the Bach Festival, I know I'm going to go with 80% of the audience, and I run the symphony. So we have a ton of crossover. So if I'm going to go to the Bach Festival, I have to, it's a Thursday night. It's my night off. I've got this, this thing this morning. It's almost the weekend. I don't remember my last day off. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to the Bach Festival, and I know I'm going to be schmoozing all night long. That's just what's going to happen. I got to get in that. I got to, it's like you got to armor up a little bit because all night long you're going to be going, oh, wasn't that amazing? Oh my God, that was amazing. Oh my God, that was amazing. Have you ever heard a violin sound like that? I haven't. Have you heard a violin sound like that? I haven't. And all of those little touch points meant something to everybody I saw. And so this afternoon, there were a couple people who I ran into last night who said, I'd love to catch up with you. They're symphony donors, so they're going to get an email from me this afternoon. It was so great to see you at the concert last night. So glad we ran into each other. I'm taking a few days off, but I'd love to catch up with you in August. That's the loop that you're just keeping up. And that's why you have this feeling, good morning, how are you, welcome. Keeping them in that loop. And that loop is exhausting. It's totally exhausting, but it works. It works. It makes them feel important. It shows them that you recognize them and that you recognize what they mean to your organization. Create priorities for yourself every year around fundraising. I play a little game with myself every year where I take one hot pink Post-it and I write 4 or 5 goals, not my performance review goals, which I'd love to do a Arts Council session on performance reviews, but I'd probably have Kate come and do it with me. Give yourself some goals. Say you have a donor that you're having a hard time with, and maybe one of your goals is letting that donor go, or finding one more strategy to engage that donor, or maybe one of your goals is not doing as many events, or maybe your goal is to think of a completely brand new event that is going to engage your patrons or your donors in a completely different way. But come up with your own sort of secret 3 or 4 goals that you have and write them down. And have them be a little edgier than anything that you'd necessarily bring to like a department meeting or you'd write in a development plan. But there's something that you feel like if you were able to make it happen, it would move the needle for the organization. And those are the kind of things that if you accomplish them, you should take a minute and sort of pat yourself on the back. Because the other thing about fundraising and development, the goalpost just keeps moving. Like, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and raising money, like when I think about how much money I was expected to raise 20 years ago versus how much money I am expected to raise now, and the numbers that we just sort of casually throw around, millions of dollars. Like, we'd love to just do like a $3 million, we could just maybe raise 15 and we get a new roof, and it's like, we're casually talking about this. Can we maybe take a step back and realize that 10 years ago, the symphony was on the brink of declaring bankruptcy? We had no endowment. The musicians hated us. Like, can we take a minute and recognize that in a decade, we have literally completely changed an organization? Can we just have a damn minute to enjoy that before we decide that we're just going to buy every big building here and turn it into something that it doesn't need to be? Because that's what happens with development. So if you are successful at development, and I know a lot of people in this room, and you are very good at what you do, that goalpost is going to keep moving because you're good at it. I'm not telling you or encouraging you to start being bad at your jobs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying take a minute to feel good about your successes, and then take another much longer minute before you make that goal so much bigger. Okay, grant prospecting. So I like to do grant prospecting in the summer. It feels like a summer project. These are my ducks. They've been arrested. I enjoy this meme. I use Candid, GuideStar, obviously. You get a free account. You can look up anybody's 990. This is fun for a lot of reasons. It's fun because you get to see people's salaries, let's be honest. That's why most of us use it. Especially when you like go to a presentation and somebody's talking and you're like, I wonder how much they get paid. And then you can go on, don't do that for the Monterey Symphony, but some of you probably will. But you can do this with foundations, and you can see where foundations are giving, and you can see how much money they're giving, and then you can see their operating budget. And what else you can see is when you go to another nonprofit, you can see how much they're spending on fundraising, how much they're spending on events. And they have to show you in their 990 what their breakdown of expenses is on their events. You can learn so much from a 990. Learn to read a 990. It's a super, super helpful thing that will just make you feel cooler because you can read a 990 and then you can just drop information in your development committee meetings. Foundation directory online, you can do a free account, you can do a paid account. That's fabulous too. Obviously, the more money you pay, the more information you can get. I like, if you have a membership for Society for Nonprofits, you automatically get a GrantStation account. I like GrantStation just because you can say I'm searching by geographic area, I'm searching by area of interest. You can search for national funders, you can search state funders, you can search local, I mean, it's great. And especially here in Monterey County, because there are so many foundations just in Monterey County, you can just start by looking at every foundation in Monterey County. And another thing that's really good to do is when you go to these events, pick up their materials so you can see who's funding them, right? So you want to know, and I'm not talking, looking at somebody else's donor list, individual donor list. I'm talking their institutional funders, the logos that they're putting up. And then another really interesting thing to look at is if you're getting money from the same foundation, who's getting more and why are they getting more and what are they doing? So what makes a good grant? Does it make sense? This is so basic, but I read grant narratives all the time and I'm like, I don't understand what you're asking for. I don't understand what this grant is. Like most grants you're asking for general operating support and you can't be like, we need general operating support because we need to be able to walk into an office and turn on lights and turn on the computer and then go to the bathroom and wash our hands and then come back to our office and use a pen. I mean, it would be great if we could write grants like that, but we can't. So we have to be like, support from the Community Foundation for Monterey County will help the Monterey Symphony, the only fully professional orchestra in Monterey County, truly bring joy and end global sadness for everyone through classical music. So think about it like a story, and also think about it like a creative writing project. Like you're telling a story about why your organization matters. Why does your organization matter? We get so hung up on impact. Why does the community need us? Impact. Why does the community need us? What are you doing? What are you doing? How do you fit in the community? And why is what you're doing important and cool? And the people who engage with your organization, why is it so cool? Let's take Jesse, for example. Youth Arts Collective. Such a cool organization. After-school program for kids, all about art, tons of art supplies. The kids don't pay for the art supplies. I didn't know that. I had no idea. They get to come and they get to express themselves creatively. Any of you who live with teenagers or know teenagers or are familiar with the concept of a teenager, these guys are not okay. Like they went through COVID with zero coping skills. We have minimal coping skills and we went through COVID. They had zero. So now they're out of the pandemic and I'm like, the more art and music and dance and outdoor spaces and beauty that we can give these kids, the better. I feel like Jesse shouldn't even have to write a grant. I think Jesse should just be like, I'm just trying to make this corner of the world a better place. Good? We're good? But no, he can't just say that. Even though the work that he's doing is amazing, and every kid who gets to go to YAC and have hours to just create and express themselves and put together art and then get to enter into art shows and get to sell their art and get to understand the side of the art business world gets that opportunity. And yet he still has to explain what his impact is in the community and what the need is for funders to give him money. Write your grant, print it, get a red ballpoint pen, and go to town on it like the meanest English teacher ever. Get as succinct as you possibly can and to the point. And you don't have to fill the word count. Please, if they give you 4,000 words, you don't need to fill it. Think about how many grants these program officers are reading. And I know they say that they read all of them, but I know for a fact that they don't, because I called a funder one time and I said I need to apologize. I submitted a really shitty grant. I had food poisoning and it was due and I couldn't delegate it and I'm embarrassed and I just want to apologize. And this funder, who shall remain nameless until I buy her a tiara, said, Nicola, we trust you and we trust your organization and I trust it's a good grant and I trust the work, so I skimmed it.
Question.
Yes.
What is your take on using like ChatGPT and artificial intelligence to help writing stuff? I'm not a grant writer, I'm just curious.
I'm a literature major and I'm the last year of Gen X and I can't with ChatGPT.
But you're too smart. Like if you're not, just use it.
I feel like the Monterey Symphony was nominated for a Chamber of Commerce Best in Business Award for an 80s themed event. So my director of operations was like, go into ChatGPT and type in, write me an acceptance speech for a symphony orchestra that wins an award at a Chamber of Commerce 80s themed event. And it spit out like, thank you, my totally tubular dudes, for supporting me in this awesome endeavor of being the greatest. And I was like, no. So, but just because I don't like it doesn't mean that other people shouldn't use it. I just don't like it. But I also don't trust robots.
Just as a comment on that, sometimes they say you have to cite the AI, like if you're using because there's specific AI for grant writing, and like not just ChatGPT, specifically. So when they'll say in the grant, if you use it, you need to cite it, and so you might come across that. And the whole use of ChatGPT depends on how good a prompt you put in. And like the paid version versus like the free version is going to get as good. So I tried to use it. Like the one grant I didn't get, I used it, and I'm like, I'm kind of my own ChatGPT. Like I've got so much already in there. Like I'm just spitting out. You often you're using a lot of the language that you would use in a previous grant, and that's much better than what ChatGPT can throw out to you. But some people swear by it and they just say it's been life changing, and some people. Yeah, like you, I'm sort of the same way. Like I'm
Yep.
better than ChatGPT.
So back to Monterey County Gives. Everybody knows what Monterey County Gives is? Okay. So get creative with Monterey County Gives. If you get accepted, proposals are due July 31st. They invite about 120 nonprofits to participate. People seem to get really stressed out about Monterey County Gives. Do I get a challenge gift? Oh my God, what do I do? Do I turn everybody, do I convert my whole website so that all my donations go to Gives? What do I do? Is Gives going to help me get millions of new donors? Are secret donors going to find me? Is Warren Buffett finally going to see the work that I'm doing and give me all of his money? No. So this last year, what the Monterey Symphony tried, which I want to try again because I thought it was really fun, is that we threw a holiday open house at our office, and everybody who'd already given to Gives was invited to come to the holiday party. And if you wanted to come to the holiday party and you hadn't given, you could just give at the door. And every hour on the hour, we had a different musical performance, and then it culminated at the end of the day with like a Christmas Carol sing-along with hot apple cider. And it was so silly and campy and fun, but it brought new donors to the symphony who were, I think, curious to see the offices, wanted to support the organization, and wanted to go to kind of a low-key, fun event. The tax letters for Monterey County Gives come from the Community Foundation. There is absolutely no guarantee on the timing of that. So what I do with Gives is I print a special thank you card for Monterey County Gives that uses the same image that we use in the ads and that goes in the magazine. And every night when I get the Excel spreadsheet that lists all of the donors, I handwrite thank you notes to every single donor every night, and I mail them every day throughout the entire campaign. A lot of donors, and it seems like a lot of work, but we've ended up in the top 10 in Gives for as many years as I can remember. Last year we raised almost $300,000 through Gives. Now, I'm not the dogs, and I'm not the old cats. And I'm never going to be able to compete with either one of them, and I'm totally at peace with that. Like, totally at peace with that. 2 years ago, I was not at peace with that. Fiona. Appreciate you. We also reformat our website, so our donate button goes right to Gives. We actually don't allow any direct contributions to the organization from November 15th through the end of the year. We drive everybody to Gives. The problem with that is if you are dealing with any kind of cash flow issues, you're not going to get that money until February or March. The other thing about Gives is you're not going to know what the match is, and the match also takes all of the fees come out of the match. So you're gambling a little bit around all of that, but by driving all of your donations to Gives, you're going to continue to grow that pool of Gives donors. We also did, for everybody who gave through Gives, who gave over $100, we gave them a special pin. I don't know about your patrons or your donors, but my patrons and donors love pins. Every time we do a commemorative pin, we have an anniversary, we do a musician, whatever it is, it's like the most exciting thing ever. I don't know if they're all just like old Girl Scouts and they want to make the thing. I don't know what it is, but pins are super hot. Another thing about grants and about foundations in general, treat your program officer like a major donor. Call your program officer and be like, hey, I just want to let you know that we just announced our season, or we just announced this new event, or we have this new initiative, or send them an email. Don't have your only interaction with them be, I can't get the grant portal to work. I don't remember my password. What do you mean you don't like my impact study? I don't understand your budget template. Wait, when is your deadline? Wait, my grant's going to be late. Don't have that be your only interaction, because then you're just a problem child. Don't be a problem child. Know when the grant deadline is. Mark it in your calendar. Mark a deadline the week before that so you're not writing the grant on the day it's due. And then 6 months after you get the grant, when you don't even have a grant report due, send your program officer an email. Hey, we just had this fabulous event. Hey, we just did this cool thing. Hey, we actually just got funded by this other foundation. Hey, we're thinking about doing something a year and a half from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. Would this be something that you might be interested in funding? Don't surprise them. Foundations hate surprises. They absolutely hate surprises. They hate surprises more than my board members hate surprises. So keep them in the loop. Treat them like a major donor, because they have access to every other foundation. Think about how much we all hang out as nonprofit professionals, right? We have AFP coffees. We have things like this. We run into each other. We see each other. All of the funders do that too. They have their own conference. They all go hang out. They have coffee. They have groups, which means they're talking about us. They're talking about our organizations. So if they have a good feeling about you and your organization when they're having their monthly coffee, and somebody says, oh yeah, I got this like really weird grant from the jazz festival. Like it was so weird. And then another funder goes, no. Lauren called me. She told me what they're trying to do. No, you just need to read it again. You're missing something. Don't worry about it. You want them to be your allies in this. That's their job. Their job is to give that money away. So you want them to trust the work that you're doing. And the way to do that is to treat them like they're a donor. Recognize every gift. Every gift. $5, $25, $100, $250, $10,000, $10 million, $1 million. If I give $100 to an organization, it's a big deal. I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids. I'm house poor. That's a big deal for me. If I give you money, I care about what you're doing. I would like you to say thank you to me. I don't need you to show up at my house with balloons and kittens or any of that, but I would just like it to be acknowledged. So think about if you gave money to an organization and you never heard from them, how that would make you feel. So if somebody gives money to your organization, thank them. You don't have to pick up the phone. Let's be clear, we're all getting a little bit phone averse. The phone scares us for some reason. I'm not sure what happened to us all psychologically. The phone scares us. Send a postcard. You know how excited when you get real mail? Like real handwritten mail? Not just another notice from the IRS that your identity has been stolen, or like a value pack of coupons, or like just a mailer or something else from PG&E about how they're changing the environmental awareness about something, but they just mailed out 40 million letters to everybody. Real mail. Thank every single donor. Every single one. Find a way to do it because it matters to them. And I have thanked donors for $100 and they have apologized to me that they didn't give more. Oh, I'm so sorry I couldn't give you more. Thank you. Thank you so much for thinking of our organization. Thank you so much. I'm so happy that something that we're doing resonated with you. It means so much that you're a brand new donor to the Monterey Symphony. Thank you so much. I hope to see you at the concerts. Please come and say hello to me. I'm short and I wear sequins. You will be able to find me in the lobby. Thank every single donor. Okay. We're almost done. 14, 15, 16, and we'll still have 5 minutes for questions. Legacy giving. If you're working in any organization that has an older donor base, legacy giving is your friend. Think about legacy giving as this. If you have a major donor who's giving $25,000 a year, and at some point they are going to leave this earthly realm, you would like that $25,000 to continue existing in your organizational budget. That is what legacy giving is. I would like to make sure that you continue to leave a mark on this organization. I would like to make sure that what you care about within our organization still happens. And so what I did is I joined the Legacy Society of the Monterey Symphony. How did I do that? If you have life insurance, most life insurance companies will allow you to add a provision to give an extra percentage to a nonprofit organization. Now, I hope, I pray that I survive my life insurance, at which point I'll need to figure something else out if I want to stay in the Legacy Society for the Monterey Symphony. But right now, if I die, 5% of my life insurance goes to the Monterey Symphony. So I can talk to people about legacy giving. I'm a member of the Legacy Society of the Monterey Symphony. I care about this organization. I've worked for this organization for 10 years. I'm also a member of the Legacy Society of the university I went to. They took really good care of me. They loaned me a violin for 4 years. When I die, I'm going to give them my violin because I care about that. So I hope I get to live a lot longer, but I also know that at some point I will exit this earthly realm. And guess what? All of your donors know that too. They know it's going to happen. So start small. Any mailing that you do, check box on every material. I have included Monterey Jazz Festival in my estate plans. I have included Meals on Wheels in my estate plans. You will get people every single time that you have no idea have put you in their will, and you just keep track of them. Now, you want to take it one step further? Very simple, very straightforward form that you can send them. Thank you so much for checking the box, indicating that you've set up some Legacy Society plans. We so appreciate it. Would you mind sharing some additional information? One of the easiest, most straightforward things you can do, if you start to see a pattern where that list is growing, those names are getting longer, maybe you have 10, 15, 20 names, you're almost at the point where you could have a little Legacy Society lunch, a little Legacy Society coffee. You have somebody in your organization who's really good at talking, have them come and talk to that group about what the big long-term plans are for your organization. So the members of your Legacy Society can wrap their head around the idea that you have planned ideas and planned programming for 20, 30, 40 years into the future. If you really want to see how really good organizations deal with your money, take $100 or $50 or whatever and donate to 5 or 7 organizations. Go online or send them a check if you really want to mess with them. And see how long it takes them to thank you. See what you get. See if they even acknowledge you. Take a big national organization. Take Amnesty International, or take whoever you want. Take a local organization that you're curious about. Send them some money. See what happens. Because some organizations are fabulous at thanking their donors, and some just don't even do it at all. But it's fascinating to see it from the other side, because we're all so just thinking about our own organization and what we're doing. Test the waters sometime. It's really interesting to see how other organizations deal with a small gift from a brand new donor. And finally, why do donors give? Why do people give? They give because they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be respected, and they care about what you're doing. And they care about it for really complicated reasons and for really straightforward reasons. When I ask people why they donate to the Monterey Symphony, these are some of the answers I get. I've met all of my friends here. That's one. This is my social calendar. It lowers my blood pressure. It brings me joy. I have a reserved parking place in front of Sunset Center. I like seeing what you're going to wear on stage. Okay? I'm madly in love with your music director. Red flag. But sometimes just asking your donors is a wonderful way for you to learn how your organization is impacting them, and for you to take those ideas and use those in your materials when you start talking about why your organization matters so much. And those are my 16 delicious tidbits of fundraising. I will take some questions now. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Absolutely excellent. I have a question. Are you taping this? Because I would like a copy. I am going to lock my board members in a small room and play it for them.
I don't want, I'm an accomplice now. You've said that you're going to do that. So we are all accomplices now. Thank you. That's very sweet. Yes.
I've heard people who get rejected after interviewing, like the advice is you can ask the people why they didn't hire you. And I said, well, they'd just lie to you because they wouldn't tell you what's wrong with you. Do people ever ask why they didn't get a grant?
Always.
And do you find the answers to be honest?
Well, I'm pushy. But I've been doing this a long time. And to be fair, and I'm learning this lesson right now. And I kind of learned it the hard way a couple weeks ago because there was a little kerfuffle in Carmel about the venue that we all use, which is Sunset Center. and everybody was mad at Sunset Center. And I just said to everybody who uses Sunset Center, I said, just go talk to each other. Don't talk to me. I have a different arrangement. We're the Symphony. We're written into the lease. You guys are renters. Just go talk to each other. Because I made the assumption that everybody just knew one another and that everybody was comfortable enough to have that kind of conversation. And that's on me. So I assumed that. I've been doing this long enough that I'm not afraid of asking a funder. I don't think a funder is going to punish me for asking that question. So I'll give you an example. The Stanton, are we still filming? Okay. This fund that exists at the Community Foundation is named, and it's named to support 4 or 5 different organizations. This amazing woman passed away and left it at the Community Foundation. You have to apply for it every year. And not only it's the Monterey Symphony, as long as we apply, we get something, but some years we get less. So 2 years ago we got less, and I was nothing short of furious. And I called and I said, why? It was actually a really good grant, and it aligned exactly with what they wanted, and we weren't overreaching, and I thought, this doesn't make sense. And to me, it just kind of felt like, not a snub, but kind of a little, and so I said, what's the deal? And the program officer said, well, the committee they weren't happy with, how they were going to be recognized. And I said, they're a funder. You don't get recognized like that. They're not a major donor. We're not going to put them up in lights. And we had this whole discussion about it. And I said, I want you to know that when I write the next proposal, I want to have a conversation with you before I write it. And I want to make sure that if that's still the priority and I manage to stick that priority in, that we're not having this conversation again. And I felt like I was being kind of a bully, but I also felt proud of myself because I was sticking up for the organization. So sometimes you have to get past those feelings of, we do tend to put funders on pedestals and sort of treat them differently because they do have access to this enormous amount of money that we're all trying to tap into. But sometimes you do need to ask the tough questions because you're going to have to go back to your board or your development director or executive director, CEO, and explain why the money is less than what you thought it was going to be. And so sometimes you do have to push on those questions.
Yes, and I asked this because I did apply for a micro grant, and I didn't get it. It was nationwide, and then later on I found out that one of the winners was related to like a neurological disease issue, and another was like a Native American tribe. And I'm thinking, well, I can never compete with them because I think their interests are more specific. And I think if you have something that's not as established, it's harder to go for certain grants.
That is true. And it also, you are also going to get rejected, and sometimes you will get rejected just because there were too many applicants and there wasn't enough money. But I also am a strong believer of, Voulay, and he says that we need to put pressure on foundations to give away more money. So it's very much a difficult situation. I think it's interesting. I've been at the Symphony for 10 years. Most of our funders, our institutional funders, have stayed locked in at the exact same amount for those 10 years. I'm not paying my staff the same amount that I paid them 10 years. My rent is not the same as 10 years ago. My salary is not the same. My expenses, my toilet paper, my water bill, nothing is the same as 10 years ago. And yet they're like, here's your $25,000, which now is the equivalent of about $16,000. And we're expected to do even more work and have more impact and be touching more lives and be doing even more amazing things with less money. So it's a tough place. It's why we're all tired. Yes? We get out a rolling table and we plug in an old school desktop Dell computer that communicates directly with Monterey County Gives. And they take a mouse and we go old school. and they're fine. We tried iPads one year, total disaster. They kept shutting down. It was like the whole thing.
Everybody wants to do it on their phone.
And then we also have a staff person who's there to just provide tech support. Like, let me help you, let me show you. Or we will just become the driver. And here, we'll how much would you like to give to Monterey Symphony? Oh, was that another 0? Okay, sure, no problem. Did you say 10,000? Okay, great. Let's go ahead. But we just, provide that service. I mean, technology, you got to think sometimes too, how many people are just trying to go to your website and give you money and they just get stuck in the Monterey County Gives thing and they just give up? And they're not even going to tell you that they tried to do it because they're just like, I don't have time for this. So.
There was a problem with the portal last year, and I had donors complain, and so I told Brian there, and they said they're going to try to fix that. So it might be a little better this year, but if you get complaints, definitely direct them to them because they want to hear that.
Yes.
Regarding MC Gives, which we do participate in, I'm from Monterey College Foundation. I'm just curious because we've gone back and forth throughout the years, but what's the motivation for putting so many eggs into that basket? Knowing that you said you don't allow any giving directly to your organization during the time that the window's open. What's the motivation for putting so many eggs into that? And is it the match? Is it because donors like it? Is it because of the publicity? Because it's really well liked on the peninsula? I'm just curious the driver is behind that.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. We've been
See if I'm missing anything.
We've been really fortunate the last couple of years to receive a fantastic challenge gift from one of our biggest donors, and we also like showing her that we've matched it. I also find it's a great way to inspire my board. It gets them a little bit competitive because they like being in the top 10 of something. There's nothing else where you can be like, hey, I've thought about making up just a fake fundraising competition and then handing out trophies, but I think they'd see through that. They do. They sort of like the pomp of it a little bit, and they check the leaderboard all the time, and they like seeing the Monterey Symphony up there. I tried for 1 year just not doing it and not pushing it, and I got my hand slapped big time.
By your board?
Oh, yeah. They were like, oh, nobody knows who we are now. And I went, oh, drama, go to bed. No. Yes.
To add to that, I had a board member who didn't like Monterey County Gives, and so I crunched the numbers for them 1 year, and it was the fees that I would have to do if we ran all that through our credit card system versus theirs, and then time to send the thank you notes. If we did the same thing that Nicola did, just a quick, easy, sign of Dear Bob, thank you so much, and it's the same message to everyone, and it's just a note card, click done, versus going through the system to process thank you and make sure that the restriction is correct if they designate it to one particular program. Like all that work we didn't have to do, so we saved the fees, we saved the staff time, and then when the match comes, your fees are covered out of the match, and you still get match on top of that. So
That's a different perspective. I like knowing the financial, explanation is too.
yeah,
That's helpful.
It penciled out.
And people just get really enthused about it, I think.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Yes.
So a question, yes, we are also in Monterey County, I hope we will be for the 7th or 8th year, but it is a very focused year end, which is when all of the giving programs happen. We want to develop a fully sustainable sponsors program, and it's that other 10 months of the year keeping you've made some great points in your discussion about how to engage your donors, but it is really hard for small, non-funded nonprofits to do that. So if you have any suggestions how to continue that besides treating them to lunch, which we can't afford to do, and no grants will pay for food anyway, so what would you suggest to sort of continue that momentum?
Do you have an office?
No. No, we are the Fire Safe Council for Monterey County, and we use space at the CAL FIRE offices right practically across the street from the Community Foundation. But we're not funded. We have, no discretionary funds to squander on office. I have a storage unit which is crammed full, but other than that.
But is there a space at that CAL FIRE that you could use to have like a monthly get to know us coffee?
We could arrange, it's not impossible whether we do it there with some of the
Does it involve a tour of a fire truck?
Good point. Hadn't thought of that. We do.
Can people get their picture taken in front of a fire truck with a hat on?
Probably.
Okay, well, I mean, I would pay to do that. So, like, I mean, come have, Friday morning coffee, let some steam off with us, learn about what we're doing. I mean, have a donor or, get a thing of coffee or have somebody underwrite that. That's the other thing. You will find your donors who like really specific things. I had one donor who was like, I would love to buy your copy paper for a year. And I was like, absolutely not. And then I thought, you know what, I should have let her, because she really wanted to do that. So I bet you have a donor who, if you said, we want to do these fun fire engine Friday coffees, would you be willing to just buy coffee and donuts for us for a year? Would you be willing to underwrite that? And we'll put a cute little sign that says, donuts and coffee provided by Barbara, and like a picture of Barbara holding a donut. And then she could be that person. And I bet, whoever that donor is would love it. Get people, just find a way to get your donors around you and get your donors around each other. Like, that's the other thing. Force them to interact. The pressure's not on you. And lunch is so overrated. We have to stop taking everybody out for lunch. If I have to eat one more salad, I can't do it. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. We have to stop this madness, because then you're stuck. You're there for like an hour. You're there for an hour minimum, and you already talked about the weather. And listen, you guys, you know the rules. You can't talk politics with your donors. You know this, right? My grandmother was a Southern belle, and she said you can't talk death, debts, and dentistry. And now it's a way longer list of things we can't talk about. So once you've covered the weather, car week, and your cute shoes, and then you talk about what you're doing, there's not a lot left to talk about, unless the salad is bad, and then you've got a whole other 30 minutes of material. But find a way to get your donors around each other. Think of really low cost, low impact things that you can do that people would be like, oh shoot, I want to walk around a fire truck and have a donut. Like, I'd do that. Oh, first thing in the morning on a Friday, I can pop by and then I can go to work. Things like that.
Thank you.
I have Monterey Symphony chapstick up here and postcards for our opening concerts. Please.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you, Nicola.
Of course.
Appreciate it. It was a great program. There's also still coffee and juice and pastries. Please take them with you so we don't have to. And we'll have our next BusinessWorks program is scheduled for Friday, October 25th. And more information about that in the future. Thank you.